Bonjour, c'est Géraldine. Yesterday we had the first part of the reading of La Belle au bois dormant, the fairy tale, we say un conte in French, by Charles Perrault, written in the 17th century. And we had a bit of a technical issue because it happens that my broadband for internet here at home is a third of the minimum that is required to actually broadcast stuff live on YouTube if you want to show your face and text. And because I'm teaching French, I need you to see what I'm talking about. So this is why I decided to do it differently. And because I didn't manage to record what we did yesterday, I'm doing it again with lots of pleasure because it's pretty fun, I have to admit. So this is a replay if you missed it yesterday, and if you didn't, you can watch it again and learn a bit more. So the idea is that every day at 7:15 Paris time, I'm going to read a bit of La Belle au bois dormant. So it's a good way for us to get together, and I'm going to read this part today, okay? So you can see here that a few people are reading the tale because they have access to it. So I'm going to put the link to the document in the chat or below the video, and you can have access to it, obviously for free. And here it is. So we're going to work on this part. I'm going to explain the vocabulary, the little things, the grammar, some tenses. And you can ask me all the questions that you want in the chat if you are watching this on Premiere. So that's together on the day it's released. And if you have another question, you can use the chat. You can use the comments below. That's absolutely fine. I read most of the comments. And if you have a question, sometimes other students have a good idea for you. So ready? Okay, I'm going to read the paragraph first. Okay, I'm going to put that bigger so everybody can actually see everything. Yes, that's much better. Good. Ready? Okay, I'm going to show you with the mouse. Il était une fois un roi et une reine qui étaient si fâchés de n'avoir point d'enfants, si fâchés qu'on ne saurait dire. Ils allèrent à toutes les eaux du monde, vœux, pèlerinage, menue dévotion, tout fut mis en œuvre et rien n'y faisait. Enfin, pourtant, la reine devint grosse et accoucha d'une fille. On fit un beau baptême. On donna pour marraine à la petite princesse toutes les fées qu'on put trouver dans le pays. Il s'en trouva 7, afin que chacune d'elles, lui faisant un don, comme c'était la coutume des fées en ce temps-là, la princesse eut par ce moyen toutes les perfections imaginables. So we are talking about Sleeping Beauty here, so you might know what this is about. I got this text, but I didn't want to read it, so I discovered the story with you. This is the fairy tale written by Charles Perrault, so it's a little bit old-fashioned, and that's an understatement, but this is why we can study it together, because now it's public, and I can use that as material to teach you a bit of French during these fun times, okay? So, sorry, we're going to take that sentence by sentence now. I'm going to read it several times, and I'm going to explain the vocabulary. As I said, feel free to ask questions in the chat. I will be happy to explain. Because this is a replay of what we did yesterday with the other students who managed to get on Zoom, which is a fantastic software, but not good for what I want to do now. I already have my notes, and because they were good, I'm going to keep them, so you will be a bit spoiled on what we're going to see, but that's fine. Next time it will be live. So La Belle au bois dormant is Sleeping Beauty, okay? Dormant is sleeping, okay? Sleeping. And bois is the wood, and La Belle is beauty, okay? L'heure du conte, so time for a fairy tale in French. So these are my notes that we saw yesterday. Again, I'm going to put this much bigger, and here we go. Il était une fois un roi et une reine qui étaient si fâchés de n'avoir point d'enfants, si fâchés qu'on ne saurait dire. Okay? Did you read it with me? Okay, let's do that again and you read it with me. I want to hear you. Il était une fois un roi et une reine qui étaient si fâchés de n'avoir point d'enfants, si fâchés qu'on ne saurait dire. Okay, so what can you notice here? Il était une fois is once upon a time. That's the obvious way to start a fairy tale. Il était une fois is once upon a time. Un roi, that's a king, and une reine, that's a queen, qui était si fâché, so fâché is angry, okay? And here what I wanted you to notice is that fâché has an accent circonflexe that you can see here. An accent circonflexe is this little thing on the top of the A. De n'avoir point d'enfant. Point here means pas in older French. So they were very angry or upset in a way. I think it's more upset than angry. De n'avoir point d'enfant, to not have any children. Okay. Si fâché qu'on ne saurait dire. This is very, very old-fashioned French. No one would ever use that anymore. But here, they were so angry, we couldn't even tell how angry they were. Qu'on ne saurait dire. Saurait here, it's the verb savoir. Okay? Saurait. Savoir. Okay, I'm checking that I told you everything. I'm going to read it again, okay? Il était une fois, and here I do la liaison, okay? Il était une fois un roi et une reine qui étaient si fâchés de n'avoir point d'enfants, si fâchés qu'on ne saurait dire. Okay, let's move on to the next sentence. I had already underlined la liaison to show you. Ils allèrent à toutes les eaux du monde, vœux, pèlerinage, menu dévotion, tout fut mis en œuvre et rien n'y faisait. Okay? Want to read this with me again? 1, 2, 3. Ils allèrent à toutes les eaux du monde, vœux, pèlerinage, menu dévotion, tout fut mis en œuvre et rien n'y faisait. That's a bit tricky because there is lots of vocabulary. If you are religious, you might know a few of those, okay? So, ils allèrent, that's le passé simple of the verb aller, okay? Ils allèrent. However, le passé simple is a verb that is a tense that you might have heard at school. Okay, they probably taught you this tense, but actually it's of no use because it's only in written French, usually in books and older books. So it's a very useful tense if you read books. However, for your everyday French, this is not a tense I recommend you really work on because at the beginning it's of no use to you because no one uses it. So, ils allèrent à toutes les eaux du monde. They went to all the waters in the world. And this means holy waters. Okay, so where you can be blessed in this way. All these kind of pilgrimage places where you can get immersed in water and they're going to get you a blessing. Vœu is a wish. Un vœu is a wish. Okay, and this should have un pèlerinage. Un pèlerinage is a pilgrimage. And here you have a plural, just as here you have a plural, because they went to everything they could find, because they really wanted a child. Menu dévotion. So menu is a way to say thin, okay? And that means mince in French. Mince is thin in French. It's not maigre. Maigre is skinny, and that's not very good. Mince is thin, and maigre is skinny. But here, what we want to say is small devotions. So like it's how can I, even I'm not sure what that means because it's such old French. Menu dévotion, une dévotion is when you're really devoted to something, and it's usually, I assume it's like praying to a small god or a small saint or something. They tried everything. So here, menu does not mean thin, it means small. Tout fut mis en œuvre. They tried everything. Everything was tried. Mettre en œuvre, okay, that's the verb. Mettre en œuvre. Et rien n'y faisait, and nothing worked. Nothing did any, it didn't give any outcome. I'm going to repeat that sentence. Ils allèrent à toutes les eaux du monde, vœux, pèlerinage, menu dévotion. Tout fut mis en œuvre et rien n'y faisait. Ooh, it was tough, okay? So here I underlined the liaison for you in order to help you a little bit, okay? So you can see mise en œuvre, ils allèrent, les eaux, etc. I have a course called French Vocabulary and Pronunciation. That's a paying class. And I have a lesson on la liaison. And it's very important to know when you're learning French that there are rules and there's real life. And in la liaison, lots of students want fixed rules. So we have some fixed rules, but we also have places where you can or cannot do la liaison, and both are fine. So for example, here is a very typical example. You could absolutely say tout fut mis en œuvre, okay? Tout fut mis en œuvre. This works perfectly fine. And you can say tout fut mis en œuvre. Both work. And no one is wrong whether they do or do not do it, okay? Ils allèrent à toutes les eaux du monde, vœux, pèlerinage, menu dévotion, tout fut mis en œuvre et rien n'y faisait. There's something that I wanted to show you as well is this. I'm going to highlight it. Because when I say pèlerinage, I don't say this I do not say it, it's cut. Pèlerinage. And this is very common with spoken French, where we remove some letters. We don't say them. So it helps you to speak in a more authentic way if you remove it. However, if you learn French in the south of France, you will know very well that I speak a French that is from Paris, and some people in the south will tell you we have to say all the letters. So again, no one is wrong. It's just a matter of knowing what you're doing. So if you want to speak a more southern French, you can say everything. But you have to know, and this is for every way of speaking French, that some letters are removed, and even some parts of a noun is removed. And this is something I talk about in French vocabulary and pronunciation as well. But I really wanted to show you that because it will change your life if you never really understood spoken French. And even if in old-fashioned written French, we can learn lots of things. So that's why it was interesting for me to pick up this fairy tale, La Belle au Bois dormant, because we can learn a lot of things. So let's move on to the next sentence. Ready? Do you want to read with me? 1, 2, 3. Enfin, pourtant, la reine devint grosse et accoucha d'une fille. On fit un beau baptême. This is a very long sentence. I think it's like, yeah, it goes up to there. So I cut it in different parts so we can study it. You want to read it again? Okay. Enfin, pourtant, la reine devint grosse et accoucha d'une fille. On fit un beau baptême. So that's at last, however, the queen became fat. Do you think that's fat? Well, first I want you to, if you're intermediate, to remember those. So they're separate, okay? You do not learn them as one expression. No, they're separate. So enfin is at last. Pourtant is however. And learning these kind of words help you to speak more articulately, because then you're not just putting one sentence after the other. You're saying something that makes sense because you have a beginning, an end, a middle. So when you have the mastery of these words, your French becomes more adult and you can speak about more advanced topics and ideas mostly. Enfin, pourtant, la reine devint grosse. So here, if we look at this with a modern eye, we would say, at last, however, the queen became fat. Well, no, because grosse means fat in general, but here, grosse means enceinte, which is pregnant, obviously, because that's the topic of the tale. So grosse means enceinte, pregnant here, but do not use that now, okay? Don't, because that's only for animals now. For women, we say enceinte, enceinte, okay? And grosse is fat now. Et accoucha d'une fille, and gave birth to a girl. Accoucher here is to give birth. D'une fille, to a girl. My son doesn't want to sleep. On fit un beau baptême. Fit is the verb faire. Ah, why did I read that? Why that? I was stressed yesterday evening, I think. On fit un beau baptême, that's the verb faire au passé simple. So here you can see le passé simple again. On fit un beau baptême. Un baptême is a christening. Un beau baptême, beau is beautiful, okay? Un baptême is a baptism, a christening, okay? Do you want to read that with me again? Let's give it a try. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Enfin, pourtant, la reine devint grosse et accoucha d'une fille. On fit un beau baptême. Okay, that's pretty straightforward, even if you don't know that grosse means pregnant, because you understand with the context what this is about. And this is what matters when you're learning a language, especially French. It's better to understand with the context than just thinking, oh, I don't know this word, so everything falls apart. Okay? So let's move on. So she had a girl, she's happy, they're doing a christening. Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3. On donna pour marraine à la petite princesse toutes les fées qu'on put trouver dans le pays. Il s'en trouva 7. Okay? I'm going to read that again. On donna pour marraine à la petite princesse toutes les fées qu'on put trouver dans le pays. Il s'en trouva 7. Okay. If you've been following Comme une Française for a while, you know that in everyday spoken French, we don't use nous in order to say we say on. However, it is supposed to be an indefinite, like, you know, it's raining, the it doesn't mean anything. It's raining, it's snowing, it is a beautiful day, the it is not about anything. So here it's a generic it. So here it's the same. On donna pour marraine is not necessarily someone. It's about the society. Well, here I think it's more of the queen, the king, the queen, and the people around them. So on donna is a generic one. I don't know how you say that in English, but it's not something, someone definite, defined. Oh, whatever. On donna, so we gave, one gave or they gave. On donna pour marraine à la petite princesse toutes les fées qu'on put trouver dans le pays. So we gave as godmothers to the little princess. Une marraine is a godmother. Okay, here. Une marraine is a godmother. Un parrain is a godfather. And une fée is a fairy. We gave as godmother to the little princess all the fairies qu'on put trouver dans le pays, that we could find in the country. And here I was stuck with this tense, pu, qu'on pu trouver dans le pays is the verb pouvoir. That was okay for me. And a lovely student, well, I think she's a teacher, called Véronique said it's le subjonctif imparfait. But again, this is a tense you would never, ever use. I don't even know how, I wasn't even sure I was not even sure what tense this was. So honestly, you'd never need it. This is really for this kind of French. Qu'on pu trouver dans le pays, that we could find in the country. Il s'en trouve à 7. They found 7. Okay? So here again, le il here, il s'en trouve à 7, is the il of it's raining. Okay? Il pleut. It's the same. It doesn't mean anyone. It's just this is how it was. And a student asked me yesterday, why the pour? It's because here in this sentence, which is often the case in French, which is why it's so tricky, is that the sentence is not in the right order that you could expect. We could say, on donna à la petite princesse pour marraine toutes les fées qu'on put trouver dans le pays. So we gave to the little princess as godmothers all the fairies we could find in the country. But because it's old-fashioned French, the pour marraine is at the beginning of the sentence. Okay? I told you French was tricky, and this is why sometimes you need someone to help you or you're just stuck. You're stuck on your own. On donna pour marraine à la petite princesse toutes les fées qu'on put trouver dans le pays. Il s'en trouve à 7. Okay? Here, if you heard, I say toutes. Okay, I really pronounce the T at the end. If you don't, it would say tout. It would be tout with masculine. That would not work. You really have to say the T, even though you almost don't hear it, but it is said. Toutes les fées qu'on put trouver dans le pays. Il s'en trouve à 7. They found 7. Okay? Let's keep going. So we were talking about, they gave as godmothers to the little princess all the fairies we could find in the country. There were 7. And the last part of the sentence, afin que chacune d'elles, lui faisant un don, comme c'était la coutume des fées en ce temps-là, la princesse eut par ce moyen toutes les perfections imaginables. Ooh, that's tricky. Do you want to read that again with me? 1, 2, 3. Afin que chacune d'elles, lui faisant un don, comme c'était la coutume des fées en ce temps-là, la princesse eut par ce moyen toutes les perfections imaginables. Afin que is in order to. Okay? In order for here. In order for. Chacune is each. Okay? Chaque is each. Chacune d'elles is each one of them. Okay? Each one of them. Chacune d'elles. So that each one of them, lui faisant un don is a gift. There are two meanings to a gift. It can be a gift as in you're really good at playing the violin, or it can be a gift as in a monetary gift like money. And actually here it's more of something that she could be or do very well. Okay, it's not money, obviously, because the king and queen are very rich. We assume, and we're talking about fairies, so they do magical things so that the baby is wonderful. Afin que chacune d'elles lui faisant un don, so that each one of them giving her a gift, comme c'était la coutume des fées en ce temps-là. Une coutume is a custom, so something you do one generation after the other, as it was the customs for the fairies in these times, etc. Here, what I wanted to show you, again, that would be useful for you in your everyday spoken French, is ce temps-là. This structure of ce, là, whatever it can be, it's about a certain time, certain place, certain person. you really want to emphasize the fact that this is the one you're talking about. You're not talking about later, earlier, another place, another person. It's really this one, and it's always written in the same way. Okay? À ce moment-là, il est arrivé dans la cuisine, for example. At this precise time, he arrived in the kitchen. And maybe I was baking his birthday cake or something. Okay? But it's at the exact time I'm talking about. And then, à cet endroit-là, mon chat a mangé la souris. At this place, in this place in the whole world, mon chat a mangé la souris. My cat ate the mouse. Okay? À cet endroit-là, mon chat a mangé la souris. This is useful if you're telling a story, for example, where you were doing something and then, wow, something happened. Or you want to show a certain place, or you want to talk about a precise person, or an object, whatever. But really this structure of ce, and then you say the word, and then you have la, with the tiret, un tiret, I'm going to, can I do that? I'm going to do that for you. Tiret. Okay, that's un tiret. Hop, un tiret. And le tiret and la really are structured to make this work. Mon chat a mangé la souris. La princesse eut, par ce moyen, toutes les perfections imaginables. I'm going to tell you why I put this in yellow. It's because if you keep only what's in yellow, the sentence works, and this is why you have un subjonctif imparfait as well here. That's a subjunctive, because you could remove all that. Okay. You could even just take that. Yeah, you can just keep the yellow. Afin que la princesse eût par ce moyen toutes les perfections imaginables. So that the princess, by this way, un moyen is a way, toutes les perfections imaginables, all the imperfections that you can imagine. Afin que chacune d'elles lui faisant un don. Here, this liaison you can do or not do, it's fine, but here you have to do it, it's better. Toutes les perfections imaginables. Perfections imaginables. Yeah, perfections imaginables is better. Okay? So that's it for today in terms of explanation. Tomorrow we'll move on to the baptism and what they ate and what they had. Yeah, that seems to be pretty good. It's kind of, I would love to have a table like that with the gold and diamonds. Yeah, that sounds pretty fun. But no spoiler for now. I'm going to reread the entire paragraph. You can read it with me. And again, feel free to ask your questions in the chat if you're watching this live with me, because I will be with you. Or you can just leave a comment below. And I'm going to reread it, and then I'm going to have dinner. Il était une fois un roi et une reine qui étaient si fâchés de n'avoir point d'enfants, si fâchés qu'on ne saurait dire. Ils allèrent à toutes les eaux du monde, vœux, pèlerinages, menus dévotions, tout fut mis en œuvre et rien n'y faisait. Enfin, pourtant, la reine devint grosse et accoucha d'une fille. On fit un beau baptême, on donna pour marraine à la petite princesse toutes les fées qu'on put trouver dans le pays. Il s'en trouva 7, afin que chacune d'elles, lui faisant un don, comme c'était la coutume des fées en ce temps-là, la princesse eut par ce moyen toutes les perfections imaginables. Ta-da! So congratulations for, I think, joining this lesson. That's really good. Good luck if you're stuck at home. I am going to be for a while, and so far, so good. The weather is fantastic in Grenoble. You can hear so many birds singing. It's very nice. And I hope to see you tomorrow, because we're going to move on to the ceremony of the christening, and maybe meet the bad fairy, the evil fairy. See you tomorrow. And again, feel free to introduce yourself in the comments. I want to hear where you are from and what you're doing at the moment. Bye. Salut.